quick things. I'm going to pull it all together fast.
I'm actually going to go sit in the car.
We made a mistake. I don't think we're going to do it again, at least if I'm sitting on the board. 2 years ago, I guess, we weren't a part of this, and I found out they had a tent outside and it got wrecked and ruined and rained on and damaged. Last year we were inside. This year we went to the tent thing again. The next day it was rained on, wrecked and ruined, and I want to thank Sue Aller personally for the day that she came out.
You were very, very
helped us
helpful.
clean up the mess. There was a lot of excitement about what's going on. A lot of people did stop in. Two things got their attention. Number one, Donald Trump is running for president, and Sue Aller has been very instrumental in helping me get the big Trump signs. So if anybody's got big property and wants a big Trump sign, but it comes with strings attached, because you're working with Jack, I asked you to. Have you called and talked to him?
I got a message into him.
Okay, that's about all I can do too.
Okay.
Because I want her to coordinate, because I don't want 3 people going to beat them up to put in signs, but what I'm trying to establish, if you want a big Donald Trump sign, it comes with the Sue Aller and a Jack Bergman sign, and I'd like to get David Riffle in on the mix. That way, we're doing what we have to do. Also, we had only one petition this year, and that petition was to get some backbone to our House and Senate representative. We don't want this transgender stuff going on anymore. You know, it needs to come to an end. They need to pass Tom Casperson's bill. Or they can forget Tom Casperson's bill, because I think Lee Chatfield's got a companion bill that's just as good as the Casperson bill. So I don't care which one they pass. I just want somebody to stand up and say, you know what, this is a state law. You use the bathroom that your birth certificate says you use. Bottom line. So we got, what, about 174 signatures?
Yep.
Now, you told me we had 200, so
I know.
you lied to me.
Hey, unless you're hiding a sheet in your back pocket.
No, I'm not.
Okay, then it's
I was
174.
feeling good about those 200 signatures.
Well,
so.
still, 174. Whew.
I wanted to do one other thing, because my wife and I don't get paid for this stuff. We don't sell this stuff. But my wife and I like to use this stuff to talk to people when they come up to talk. And I'm going to ask you all the questions. You recognize these guys. Now, it's not the Jackson 5. It's not the Temptations. These are the first blacks that served in Congress. Do you know what party they were?
Republican.
They were Republicans. They were black. As a matter of fact, this guy over here was Speaker of the House. How many people know that?
I do now.
Well, you do now. See, the problem is, and this is something I really want to stress, because there is a flaw. We need to be studied. We need to understand what our country was all about. Because I can guarantee you, if you could educate people into understanding what our government was all about, the last thing you'd be voting is Democratic. And you'd be hiring good Republicans to take over. You know? And I'm going to tell you, and I'm just going to be real quick on this. The first thing you need to read is this. This is your Bible. If you got one at home, blow the dust off the book, because 34% of your Constitution comes from it. Just some other things my wife and I have been reading, and I'll share with you very quickly. How many watched the first Agenda movie?
Yep.
The Naked Communist. Now, I haven't read this version. This is a 2014 printing. But my wife and I, one summer, went and read the 1960s version. You're going to find out about communism. You're going to find about what's been tearing this country apart, and the 45 goals that were listed are going to be very good to read. Which also my wife and I have read this book by Robert Bork. Now, not this one in particular. We checked it out at the library. There is one of those here in Alcona County. And you could read Slouching Toward Gomorrah by Robert Bork. You'd get an understanding of what our court system should have been and how the judges have been misreading things, okay? Original Intent by Dave Barton. This is a real expensive book. It cost us $9.95. you'll find out again. And he tells you what the founders had to say about this stuff.
The hardcover's on sale right now. Usually it's $29.95, but it's
No, this has
$9.95.
always been $9.95.
Are you kidding me? I beg to differ because I was just on the
Oh, this one here,
website.
I bought this one at Myers. Now, I'm not a real big
Wow.
Tom Beck fan, but I'm gonna tell you, once you get past the junk of the, you know, the thing about cavemen and fighting off the saber-toothed tiger, he goes through all the presidents of about 1900, about Roosevelt, Wilson, the other Roosevelt,
Yeah.
and Lyndon Johnson and Barack Obama. And it is a great book, and it will educate you. Because there's a group of people out there that don't understand why we're Republican. And this is the last of it, and this is where I just about finish it. If you have a hard time reading, Wall Builders has some great DVDs, talks about pastors being involved in government. A Nation Adrift tells you where we got and why we're here. Mm-hmm. Biblical Principles, it talks about pastors fighting the homosexual agenda in Texas when they passed it and how they were successful in defeating it. It brings up a lot of good information. And this one to me is the most important one because it talks about American history in black and white. I am tired of hearing about the Republican Party being the racist party. I am going to tell you, if you ever, and I searched this out online, and I mean even in Politico and the Huffington Post, you can find things about the things Lyndon Johnson had to say about black people in there, and I'm going to tell you, it's none too kind. As a matter of fact, Glenn Beck goes into it a little bit. So this is it. You know, if we're gonna make a difference in this country, you gotta sit down and study some of this stuff some of the time, guys. And I'll be happy to talk with you after the meeting. And to me, this is really important because, it's like being a Christian and not knowing your Bible. I mean, there are people that do it. And I'm going to tell you, their walks are not very successful. I'm finished. Thank you.
Okay.
I'll leave now if you want.
No.
Theodore Roosevelt would be proud, Gary.
Anyway.